I sat in that courtroom with my hands folded on the table, convinced I was about to lose everything. My house, my retirement, half my life savings. What I didn't know was that in less than 20 minutes, my wife would lose something far more valuable, her entire case.
We'd been married for 11 years. Rachel and I met at a friend's barbecue, and she laughed at every single one of my terrible jokes. I thought I'd found my person. I thought we'd grow old together.
The first few years were good, really good. We bought a house together, adopted a dog named Captain, and talked about having kids someday. But somewhere around year 7, things started to shift. She started coming home later. She'd say it was work, always work. New projects, demanding clients, late meetings. I believed her because I wanted to believe her. Then the phone habits changed. She'd take it into the bathroom. She'd sleep with it under her pillow. If I walked into the room while she was texting, she'd flip it face down like it was a reflex.
I asked her once, just once, "Rachel, is something going on?" She looked me dead in the eyes and said, "You're being paranoid. You always do this." And I felt guilty for even asking.
When she filed for divorce, she blamed me. She told her lawyer I was emotionally unavailable, that I neglected her, that I made her feel invisible in our own home. She wanted the house, 70% of our savings, and alimony for 5 years. I was devastated, not just because of the money, because I actually believed maybe she was right. Maybe I had failed her. Maybe I really was the problem. My lawyer, a sharp woman named Diane, told me to stop feeling sorry for myself and start gathering evidence. She said, in divorce court, feelings don't win cases, facts do. That's when I found the messages. I wasn't snooping. Our family laptop had her iCloud still synced. One morning I opened it to check the weather, and a wall of texts appeared on screen, hundreds of them, to someone named Marcus. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through them. Pet names, plans to meet at hotels during her so-called work trips, photos I wish I could unsee, and the worst part, messages where she laughed about how oblivious I was. One message said, he actually asked me if something was going on, and I just told him he was paranoid. He apologized to me, followed by 3 laughing emojis. I printed every single page, 214 pages of messages spanning 18 months. I handed them to Diane in a manila folder, and for the first time since this nightmare began, she smiled. The court date arrived on a gray Tuesday in November. Rachel walked in looking polished, confident, wearing the pearl earrings I'd bought her for our 10th anniversary. She didn't even look at me. Her lawyer went first. He painted this picture of a lonely, neglected wife who had sacrificed her career for a husband who didn't appreciate her. Rachel dabbed her eyes with a tissue. The judge listened carefully, nodding occasionally. Then it was our turn. Diane stood up slowly, adjusted her glasses, and said, "Your Honor, opposing counsel has described my client as emotionally absent. We'd like to present evidence that tells a very different story." She submitted the messages into evidence. Rachel's lawyer objected, but the judge overruled him. The messages had been on a shared device. They were admissible. And then the judge did something I will never forget. He started reading them out loud. March 14th, quote, "I can't wait to see you tonight. He thinks I'm at a conference in Austin." The judge paused and looked at Rachel over his reading glasses. She had gone completely white. April 2nd, quote, "Just booked the hotel. Same one as last time. He's paying for it too, technically. Our joint credit card." A few people in the gallery shifted uncomfortably. Rachel's lawyer was furiously writing notes. June 19th. Quote, "Marcus, when this divorce goes through, I'm taking the house and most of his savings. My lawyer says I have a strong case. Then you and I can finally stop hiding." The courtroom was dead silent.
I could hear the clock ticking on the wall. Rachel's hands were gripping the edge of the table so hard, her knuckles had turned white. Her lawyer leaned over and whispered something to her, but she didn't respond. She just stared straight ahead like she'd stopped breathing.
The judge read 3 more messages, each one worse than the last. One where she called me a fool, one where she described exactly how she planned to manipulate the proceedings, and one where she told Marcus she felt nothing for me and hadn't for years.
When he finally stopped reading, the judge removed his glasses and set them on the bench. He looked at Rachel and said, "Ma'am, is there anything in these messages that has been fabricated or taken out of context?"
Her lawyer tried to speak, but the judge raised his hand. "I'm asking her." Rachel opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Then she whispered, "No, Your Honor."
The judge ruled in my favor on almost every count. I kept the house. I kept my retirement. No alimony. He said that given the evidence of a sustained extramarital affair and deliberate financial deception, her claims of emotional neglect were, and I quote, "not credible."
Rachel's lawyer requested a recess. Through the glass door of the conference room, I could see her crying, not the delicate theatrical tears she'd performed earlier, real ones, the kind that twist your whole face. Part of me wanted to feel vindicated, and for about 30 seconds I did. But then I just felt hollow. 11 years, 18 months of lies, 214 pages of proof that the person I loved most in this world had been laughing at me behind my back. I walked out of that courthouse into the November air and sat on a bench in the parking lot for a long time. Captain was waiting for me at home. The house was quiet. It's still quiet.
But here's what I've learned. The truth doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care about your plans or your performance. It sits there quietly, waiting. And when it finally speaks, it speaks louder than anything you've ever heard.